Well, good morning, crowd. Out for a hike. Passage 28. We just left Blue Ridge campground up there. Passage 28, and we're going to a place called, what's it called? Gooseberry Springs at 11 plus 8 plus 9. Yeah, I won't quite make that tonight, I don't think. So, yeah, that's the plan. As you can see, we're walking through a yellow pine forest. Pretty much it's going to be this way all the way to the other side of Flagstaff. It's cold this morning. My shoes were frozen solid. I set them out on the tailgate. I got to spend the night meanwhile back at the camper, which was great. Oh man, that is so nice. And the other thing that's so great, can you see the trail back there behind me? I don't know if you can see it. I mean, the ground is soft, there's pine needles, rocks are just, there's some, but not, terrible amounts of rocks. It's like walking in a forest, It's a pretty lonely place. Not that I'm lonely, I'm pretty comfortable being alone, but haven't really been around other people hardly at all. It was fun to walk with McGill. His knee was hurting a little bit yesterday, and so he decided he wanted to go my pace, which was first time I met anybody that wanted to walk my pace. All the rest of these young people, man, they go flying by, at 30 miles a day, and I'm pretty pleased at 15 myself. We actually did 20 yesterday, so yeah, that's the plan. That's what we're up to. I'm gonna enjoy these nice soft trails with pine needles all over them. Woohoo! I love it. It's kind of like, oh yes, we got a treat for the feet. There's been plenty of water, I'm not complaining, but this is Meadow Tank, as you can see back there. Be a little bit difficult to get your water out of there. It's just kind of a typical water source on the Arizona Trail. Has been quite a few of those, and unfortunately with this drought, many of that style of water storage, which they put together for cows basically, many of them have been dry. You're really high here. Now you're at 7,000 some feet right now, and the old adage is that you hike high and sleep low. Well, guess what? You're not going to be doing that here, because there ain't no high and no low. It's all the same. Big old flat plateau, mostly flat. Get up around Flagstaff, they had some volcanoes up there, big old volcanoes. And so you get Mount Humphries is up there, which is a high mountain. Not sure, but I'm thinking it's around 13,000 or so, maybe a little more. I don't know for sure about that one. So that'll be the high point of the whole trail, is when you climb up the flanks of Mount Humphries. It's not too high. I think you're up at around 9,000, I think, around that zone. We were nearly that high right on the first day out the gate down there in Mexico. So those will be your two higher points along the whole deal. Well, there it is, kids. Made 500 miles. You know what? I honestly never thought that I'd be able to walk 500 miles on this trail. And here we are, 500 miles. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful tree. Pretty darn amazing, actually. Look at that thing. Wow. I mean, I tell you what, you wouldn't want to climb up on one of those limbs and fall off. It'd be pretty hard on you. Well, let's go get some water. Looks like a great place to get water, doesn't it? See a little structure I made down there to get out there without getting too muddy. And then you pick up the water and you put it in here. right in that little baggie there. And that pre-filters it so you don't get too much in the filter. So let's just see if I can get down there and get water without getting all muddy or wet. Let's see. I don't know if that's in the light enough for you to see it. Let's see here. There's the stuff I was filtering out of there. There's actually lots more there that you can't see. And you just take that and get it on your pants. This will probably gross you out a little bit. Yeah, first times, you know, first time you have a really bad water source and you pre-filter it and you filter it and it takes half an hour because there's so much gunk in there and it comes out green and tastes terrible when you're done, even after it's filtered. It's safe. I mean, it's not bad for you, but it doesn't taste good. You know, you just spend a long time getting water. So let me show you what this looks like here. What do you think? What do you think? Looks pretty nice, huh? Yeah, not bad. This water actually is relatively clear. When now you notice I had that little green cup. I was picking the water where I wanted it. Very good. Well, good morning. It is morning, obviously. Cold, just, you know, just probably just below freezing. Not real cold, but definitely cold enough to put frost on your tent. Still walking in passage 28 today. I think we end up at Gooseberry Springs is the last one. And I think we're going to go a little farther than that today. Trying to get, oh, look at this, I got to show you this. This is kind of cool. Let's turn this around for just a second and see if we can't see it. You know, in Idaho, these pretty little flowers are the first ones to bloom in spring. And then this other one over here, this little white one right there. I didn't even know what this one was called. Steve Otto taught me that one. He calls them spring beauties. Buttercups and spring beauties. So here we go. Been on the trail for about, oh, probably an hour already. I was on the trail at first light. And as you can see, the sun is just coming up back there. It is, it's a beautiful day. Been walking through this forest now for 3 days. And I think it's this forest all the way to Flagstaff, and then maybe a day or two after as well. So I got about another 4 or 5 days of forest. Then we break out into the open and head out across the open area of the Kaibab Plateau over there, and that's kind of the plan. Been seeing quite a few elk walking through here. You know, I mean, not dozens, but certainly probably seen 12 of them, I imagine, so far. Elk tracks all over the place. This place must be crawling with elk. Lots of elk. It's another, I think today is a 17-mile day. I think 17.3 or something like that. Under 18 for sure. Yeah, I don't like walking over 18 if I can avoid it. We did a 20-mile day the other day, and it included a real big hill as well. And I was pretty beat when I got done. Pretty beat. Anyhow, so just one foot in front of the other, 2.5 miles an hour. It's really nice up here on the plateau because it's none of these huge steep hills, you know, where you climb thousands of feet, you know, in a period of a couple of miles. None of that. Check that out. You know, those people do good work. Arizona Trail is pretty cool that way. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's a pretty morning, I'll tell you what. This is pretty country. Well, we just passed Gooseberry Springs. I think you can see it right back there. Trailhead right behind me, right over there. That's the end of this passage. We're on to the next passage. We'll talk about that in the morning. It's just afternoon. Probably, you know, afternoons typically get to be about six more hours of hiking. Probably be done by 6 or 7 in the evening. We're starting to get into this area where there was a really big logging operation that went on here. A little town up here called Happy Jack, and these guys literally cut down whole forests in order to make railroad ties, among other things, but mostly railroad ties, I think, to build the railroads throughout the nation. And so this was an area that they did that. We're just walking on a railroad bed here about 5 minutes ago. So makes for good walking. You know, I tell you what, compared to the southern half of Arizona, this northern half is much more pleasant to walk on, for a fact. You guys see it back there? This is a really nice trail. It is about as good as trails get. Not only is it flat, but it's full of pine needles. It's like, oh yeah, I have paid in blood, sweat, and tears and blisters in southern Arizona, and now I'm loving this. I am loving it. The alarm set at 4:30 so I can hit the road when it gets light, right? Get as long a day in as I can. Anyhow, it was cold when I left. Cold this morning. Probably about 25 or so. Oh, my fingers. Check it out. See my fingers? I got good fingers. I need some new gloves, obviously. Meanwhile, back at the campers working on that right now. Because they're gonna pick me up tonight. So it was cold. You should have seen. I put my water bottle right, put it in my pack. It was just nice. I was using it to cook breakfast. I got it out about an hour later, and it was about half froze. Yeah, it was cold this morning. I slept good though, just right on the edge of cool, but not too cold. So doing all right that way. My first attempt with the camera this morning, it did not like those cold temperatures. I got it out and it just died immediately. I mean, literally, I took a video probably, I don't know, less than a minute long anyway. What is my elevation? Yeah, 7533. So right around 7,500 feet. It's a nice day. I mean, really, pretty nice. It's already warmed up enough. I took off my jacket. It's not bad at all right now. And so, in fact, this is almost feeling warm. That's how kind of how Arizona is. It's that desert country. You'll get really cold at night. Boy, but the moment the sun comes out, the temperature shoots up. And so, just the way it is. That's the largest natural lake in Arizona. It's called Mormon Lake. And I think I see just a tiny bit of water way, way, way out there on the other side. Basically, it's all dried up. And, you know, when we started walking this trail, we were a little concerned about the drought of not being able to find water, which is partly why we were, you know, kind of doing this in late winter, early spring. I don't know that you could do it, you know, in the summertime or in the fall when it got really dry. We've managed to find water. Haven't did without water even once. It's been just fine. Well, they've got us walking down an old railroad track here. Check that out. Still has the old railroad ties there. 2 miles ago, we just passed into passage number 30. So we are now passage 30, and I'm about 4.2 miles from getting picked up by Meanwhile back at the camper. Well, there's Mount Humphries. We'll be walking past that left side of that thing here in a couple days. Woohoo!